Good evening. Evening, Ian. How are you doing? And good evening, Mick. Good to see you. Evening, all valleys. Good to see you. What's everybody been up to? I ain't well, modelling wise, I've done very little. Moment, I've been doing some stuff around about the house this holiday, doing repairs and stuff and cleaning, tidying. So I may do some on railway tomorrow. But I've been busy with stuff. I've just been doing it. I've just assembled a couple of engines for an Italian aeroplane. I'm going to be building two. There's two in a Tupperware box I got. I'm going to be doing one in Italian markings and one in Swedish. Good evening, Jessica. Good to see you. It was nice to put a face to the name in DMC the other night as well in the tavern. We're good to see you, Jessica. But yeah, busy doing stuff. Like I say, I've been doing models lately. I've been doing stuff I've not done around the house for ages because I've been very ill and meds. Now my meds are tailored right. I'm a bit more chipper. It was fun on Friday, Jessica, you're right. Yeah, I was at a party last night. But it's not the same when you get older. It just ain't the same. I used to go parties and I was a party animal. I'd get plastered, I'd pinch people's beer off them, throw them out the party. Well, I went one party one night, they got gate crashers. I pinched the beer and threw them out. My mate goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, the gate crashed." I said, "I'm having the beer and they gone." So, yeah, end of problem. But yeah, and when I got older last night, I had a few pints. It were all right, and it was the old local brew, the Holtz's ales. Never mind Boddington's being the cream of Manchester. Them lot of traitors. Holtz's ales and Manchester ales. And I were having the local brew. But thing is I set off home at 11 and I said to my mate says, "Do you fancy another whiskey in a pub?" And I said, "I ain't gonna lie." I said, "Things have changed nowadays. So I want to get home to take some painkillers." Yeah, it's John Travolta moves. They're a long thing in the distant past. I weren't that good when I was younger. I was talking about one I did years ago. Years ago, we went out Christmas Eve one time, me and one of my mates, and we went to a local. It was a big disco back in the day. It's just a shell of a building now. Long since gone. All that's left are two walls of the shell. Sad, really, because it was a big building, and we were in there Christmas Eve. I was pissed before we started. and I slipped and went all the way down a flight of stairs. Didn't spill a drop of my pint. Ended up with a bird sat on my knee as I was bouncing down the stairs. Happy days. Fantastic. You like doing the Cresta run with Sam Fox sat on your knee. Fantastic. Oh, beautiful. What sort of birds have you got around there, Jessica? Just as a matter of interest. No, I get what he means. If he has a decent camera set up. Many years ago, I set up a bird feeder at my window, and I had one of my Nikons with a 300mm lens. I could tell when they had bogies. Yeah, it was all good fun. Oh, nice stuff, Jessica. Chickadees, they're a cute little thing, chickadees. My new blue jays are. That's one I'll have to look up, Juncos. I'll tell you what, if you look it up, Jessica, I don't know whether you've ever seen it, but there was a photograph taken in this country a couple of years ago, and it's got a weasel, and it's riding on the back of a flying green woodpecker. If you go on Google Images and search for weasel on woodpecker's back, it should come up. But it just rode a flying woodpecker, this weasel. Little shit. They probably ended up fighting in a tree and it's dived on it. Woodpecker's flown off and it's flown down, but chance in a million the guy we're photographing and he zoomed round and got it. It's not the most perfect photograph, but it's good. Wow. Good stuff. I'll just have a look at that. So I get the idea of what it is. Wow, cool stuff. Excellent stuff. Yeah, hats off to the guy. It's a good photo. Good timing and everything. It's a once in a lifetime shot that you'll never get something like that again. But I bet that's paid for more than one or two meals for him. I bet it's put food on the table a few times, that. Talking about food on tables there, that food on my shirt. I'm such a slob when I'm at home. Cool, excellent stuff. I'm taking it that was a 300mm lens. 3000 sounds a bit harsh. Be a lot bigger than that lens, I'd imagine. But yeah, if I put mine on a 3000, I'll have to check that out. I thought it'd only be 300. There must be some what is it, image magnification to that as well as the zoom. It'd have to be a hell of a lens to be 3000. Well, I can't even think, where's my 300? I've not used it for a bit now. It'll be attached to one of my Nikons. Oh no. I'll have put it down somewhere. Ugh. Bloody hell. Give this a quick clean. I got this one for a few years ago now, but I got it for practically nothing really, peanuts, from a camera shop as well, so. But it's a semi-pro model, an old Nikon, but it's the D300 and you get so many controls on it and everything. But that were a mid-upper range one. It's only got I think it's a 48mm lens on. Not 50mm, sorry. But it's a very low F number, so it's good in low light. Well, that one's a cracking camera. But thing is, what I do with cameras, I hunt around till I find one that's going cheap. Because you get people, and the biggest ones responsible for it are retired people, being blunt about it, and a lot will get them because they think, I've got time now, I'll get into photography and stuff. And they out camera themselves, they get, like I've been into it for years and I grew up with it as a kid, but some will out camera themselves and they'll buy the top thing when all they needed really was a point and shoot sort of technique. There's some cameras now, bottom end digital, how can you put it? In a bit, photographers will be a thing of the past. Because a good artist will be able to work out a good layout. Yeah, that's what I mean, the digital zoom. That zooms into the pixels, though, when you get it's still, don't get me wrong, it's still good. But your image quality lessens as you zoom into it. Still good, though. It's still a good piece of kit. Even as a 300mm, it's good on that. Yeah, the all-in-ones are good now. They've come on leaps and bounds. But I'll always go with DSLR where I can take the lens off and make my own choices on lenses. Because they're good and they're good quality. But the problem with lenses is when you get an all-in-one lens, they produce good nowadays, they do good, but most cheaper end lenses, the plastic, optical plastic, which isn't as good as the glass, and they make them so they go over a wide range instead of specifying to that particular range. If I take a picture with that 50mm on, I can see an ant's bullocks 100 foot away. It's that sharp, but if I use my standard kit lens, it's nowhere near as good. But that's because the 50mm it's a proper glass lens and like specific to that area. It's not a 50mm and a 300 and stuff. But yeah, I like the all-in-one cameras. Don't get me wrong. I've won a few photographic competitions using the basic bottom dollar old Fuji, like I think it were 8 megapixel or some shit like that. I don't know. Nah, I beat you, Ian. My first camera was a box brownie. I'm not saying how old I am. Well, not quite a box brownie. It was the brownie after. And I got 110. I got 110 cameras, but they weren't good negative. The negative were too small to do any really good quality photography. Yeah, Jessica, it can be. If you're fully into it, it's like any hobby. If you're fully into it, you never stop really spending. I just have what I have now and I use that and I don't. But if I were fully following my photography thing, you'd be buying something every week going, I'll buy this because it'll just give me that edge. I'll buy that because it'll just give me that edge. But I find now my years of experience from being 8 years old when I took it up can fill most gaps. I can find ways around things. If I want to sit down and really photograph, my mate used to have his own shop and work as a photographer. And he would always after me working for him because he says you want to best around the area. He says, like, you're far better than a lot that have set up as pros. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't want me. I never like me hobbies becoming, if you like, employment. In my escape time, I'll do a shitty mundane job and then have my hobbies as an escape plan. It's the only way to look after your mental health. If you take on your hobbies as work, it's no good for your mental health. You've no escape. And you've lost a good hobby you enjoyed and it's become tedious and work. But yeah, you can spend and spend, Jessica. Yeah, I've had darkroom. I've developed black and white and colour. Colour's a learning curve. Colour developing and printing. It's good fun. The chemicals are more sensitive. You have to work in absolute pitch black, and that can have some fun consequences. You'll have the scissors. You lay everything out so you know where everything is, and you'll pick the scissors up or whatever to cut your film when you're loading it into the cassette. Then you'll put them down, and you're rolling on the cassette, but you didn't put them down where they meant to be put down. And then you're going, where the fuck did I put the scissors? I've got the film out and I can't use light because I'll expose the film. on colour. It's very light critical colour. You can't have any light at all. Well, I tell a lie, there are coloured darkroom lights, but they put out such little light, it's not worth having them. Exactly, and that's where I come from. I like doing my YouTube and my model railway and my die cast, but I have to have a variety. And I can shut my door on one and like my die cast. I left them for months without doing any. And I was doing model railways or painting figures because I needed that mental break away from it. Because I don't get people that do YouTube and they have to have a video every week. I couldn't do that. It's meant to be enjoyment. That can't be enjoyment. I used to be a member of an art society because I'm a painter, and we had a 3-monthly comp. Every 3 months, we all did a painting and put them together. Then whoever won it you basically won a trophy. There were 4 trophies to win a year. I had my name on a couple of them. But even that, because you're painting and you have to work out individual stuff and that, because you're trying to do original work and you're thinking, well, that artist did it that way, that's been done before, that's done. So you're trying to work out original stuff. I mean, I have an original, one of the country's top aviation artists. I have one of his original paintings. I've got the print over bed here, but I also own the original now. Like, I bought that, and I watched him doing it online, and it took a couple of months over it, oil painting. It's bloody good though. It doesn't have to be on the floor when you're in darkroom, Jessica. You can put it 2 inches from where you last had it, and you can search everywhere, and it's in the place you didn't search. Because it's pitch black, you ain't going to find it. And guaranteed, if I had to search in the dark room, I'd knock something over like fluids or something that I wanted. Just the way the cookie crumbles. Like you say, at least with dark light, with black and white, you could have a red light and you could see what you were doing. And black and white were interesting. I've still got some of the old pictures I developed myself. I've got one of them of my model railway I had back then. Some black and white shots I took. But yeah, I loved. Fantastic piece of kit, Valleys. Wouldn't be without it. Wouldn't be without it. Fantastic kit. I think he was very talented. If you go, there's a side he did. If you look away from what he did for TV, he could be an inventive and imaginative painter. He did some fantasy art and it's really nice, Bob Ross, but his landscape were fantastic. You used to see him when he set off, and some of the colours he used, you'd think, what the fuck are you using? What you doing with them colours, man? And then when he finished, it was absolutely beautiful. He was a very skilled painter. It was sad what the people that own the rights now did to his family. They couldn't properly shafted him. It was disgusting, really. His sons and everything got shafted by the people he was in business with them, and he didn't want them to get hold of his name, but they did court cases and they grabbed everything. The people he were in business with, they weren't nice people. Yeah, they weren't nice people, Valleys. They were horrible individuals, how they treated his family. I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted that done. Which shows when you're in a position like him, with that sort of stuff to lose, you've got to make plans for your family. But yeah, I watch his programs still now, because there's a lot to learn for people. Jesus, weather, can tell it's Manchester. It's pissing down. Shut me curtains. Lock the world away outside. But yeah, it was wholeheartedly disgusting. I think most people on here have seen me. You've seen me Yui painting, haven't you, most on here? I'd imagine. I know Mickle has seen it. I'm not so sure Ian may have seen it. Well done. You did. I'm not so sure whether others have. So where is it? Way up. It's moved area. Oh, that's why I put it up there. I put it further up so it weren't getting scratched by other stuff. But yeah, that's the sort of shit I got up to. That's not finished. It still needs work. That one still needs work, yeah. But the thing is, I've got to the point where no, he was in the Air Force. He was in the Forces, Valley. It was the Air Force he were in. I think he made it up to sergeant in the US Air Force. But yeah, I watch his programs during, because some days I'll go in and I'm sat with one patient all morning, and sometimes they're fast asleep, so while they're asleep, you can more or less watch what you want on telly. If he's awake, I'll put his stuff on. But if he's asleep, I'll watch my own stuff. And I'll watch a bit of Bob Ross because his programmes are still shown. I used to watch Paint Along with Nancy as well many years ago. I don't think she gets shown nowadays. Nancy Kolinsky or whatever she's called. But she mostly painted. She painted a lot using knives and texture. Fantastic. I forget what the biggest we did was, but we did a big one because somebody requested a really big portrait of the Dalmatian. And he had large format cameras. Which one were it? I think it were a Bronica he had. I think, if I remember rightly. So he had large format and he printed a big negative out onto a big canvas. But he needed a delivery. They had a Durst system and it were a big wide drum. You rolled your paper up, put it inside it, put your chemicals inside. Then you put it on top of the motor that turned your drum and got the chemicals all over your paper to develop it. But what a pain in the arse it was to do that one. Yeah, I've not heard of him. I'll have to check him up. Yeah, it does. You know, it's so relaxing listening to him. Happy little Lex. He had a beautiful voice. I could listen to him without watching the painting. He was one of them people who were lovely spoken. Hi Raymond, good evening. But yeah, I can listen and watch Bob all day long. Very talented, some beautiful pen. Never did portraits, I don't think. But I think somebody told him early in his career, stick to landscapes, you're good at it. I think somebody told him that early in his career. But thing is, nowadays we're being online, and so hang on, put my camera up a little bit. That's a bit better. Nowadays we're being online and stuff, like, and if you're on a particular subject like me with aviation art, I know artists from around the world. I'm looking at our own club magazine. I've been featured and stuff in I've wrote articles for my own club magazine, and we used to send copies of them to America as well as online copies. You could view them online, and I've had my name mentioned in American Art Society magazines for the aviation artists over there. So my name has been known abroad and everything. I've got paintings in a couple of different foreign countries, and I know I've got one in Finland. I know one's over on Ireland. Well, I say it's on Isle Man. The guy that got it, I think he's retired now, and he may live there. I know he sold his helicopter, though. He had an helicopter, and he sold his car dealership, and I thought, why is he not coming in? I looked his helicopter up, and his helicopter were transferred to America. Because they're popular in America, Eurocopter A-stars, or as we know them, the squirrels. They're popular in North America. Almost every news station has them. Which you'd be surprised. You'd have thought it'd have been Bell helicopters, but the A-stars are very popular. But we call them a squirrel over here. I'll have to look him up. I'll have to look him up, Jessica. He's not one I'm familiar with. So many that did them, though, but when you're a painter of certain subjects, you get talking to others around the world that do that subject online, because online you can talk to anyone anywhere. I've even had David Jason replying to me posts, like put something on, and he didn't put me, but he clicked on it. It was his own page, and he clicked on it. I suppose apart from the odd standout one, they don't get enough time. Most we think, oh, I'm the one, this is a witty comment, and he'll see this. And he's the sort of person that'll wake up in the morning, look at his emails or comments on things online, and he's about 10,000 answers. Because you're not the only fan. If there's someone popular, it's not only the population of your own country, it's abroad as well. Wow. You'll be getting watched now then, Valleys. They'll have their eye on you now. Now Elon's answered you. The left won't like that. You might turn round one morning and you've got an angry mob with torches and pitchforks outside your house. It won't be the first time that's happened. I'm amazed they've never done it to me, because at present, I'm usually against, it's not just our governments, it's the world governments. They've all taken leaves of their senses. I don't know what it is. Is it a worldwide mental illness? Is it something they're putting in the water? Because all the governments seem to be drinking from the same fountain. They've all lost the plot. I don't get it. And 3, 2, 1, black screen. But yeah, they'll shut you down if you. No, it's ridiculous. If you say something that's common sense, they'll shut you down. or history that's factual history. The amount of... I fully disagree with it. Whether it's good history or bad history, it's the reality of events, and I disagree with diluting that to suit one set of people. No matter who it is, whether it's us or... Because let's be honest, white, and they did do bad things, but let's be honest about it, blacks aren't innocent. They've done their share, but they conveniently forget it when they're on for reparations and everything. Yeah, I won't be buying any of that, Ian. I'll go for Brook. Army Barracks, 1982. Every time I smell that fragrance, British Army Barracks, 1982. That's what Brook says. And then I wouldn't mind. You'd put it on, you'd have a shower and put it on so you felt fresh, because it were a nice fresh smell, Brook. And you put it on and you get outside. The sergeant goes, "All right, where are the puffs?" You thought, oh, Jesus, here we go. He's off abusing people again. Yeah, you got that regular. You got bollock for it. If you put deodorants on or had scented soap or you used Brook, anything like that, the sergeant would grumble at you and he says, if you're in battle, there's certain people abroad that'll smell you from 5 miles away. I think the 5 miles away was an exaggeration, but he was right. If you were in the area, they'd have smelt you before they heard you on the right wind. Eye karate is only because I'd go for eye karate only because Valerie Leon advertised it. But I used to like eye karate, but the weird thing about it was it varied in quality. It was very variable, eye karate. It could be green one week, yellow another, straw coloured another week, clear another. Changes colour, the smell changed slightly. Sometimes it'd be sticky, sometimes it wouldn't. I think eye karate had very, very patchy quality control. Oh, he was sold everywhere in our time. He was sold on boots. Eddie's Bargains used to have it, a cheap Jewish guy. God, some of the shit in his shop. I don't think anything were genuine articles. Everything were Chinese or made in India. You're dubious when you're paying like £2.50 for a coffee table. Some of the shit he had, Eddie. Yeah, it's genuine gold, that. Fucking isn't. Not for 10 quid, it isn't. Yeah, deodorant, as long as it blocks the odour, you can get unscented. But even then, you just had to go out in something that were a little bit scented and the sergeant were proper on you. He'd be like that. Do you want shooting, son? Well, we're all in the same army here, and we're in England and we're not fighting anyone. Who do you think's going to shoot me? Yeah, good stuff. It's good stuff, Jestiger axe. We call it links over here, but in the occasional shop you get axe, which I presume is the export name, the non-UK name. They've probably got, let's be honest about it, they've probably nicked some export stuff. But yeah, exactly, Ian. Oh God, yeah. What I do, because I'm in the chemist that often now for me prescription meds and shit, I'll go in and they have a scents board with all these cheap aftershaves and everything, and I spray myself for free. I've never bought any off them. I just use the testers and spray myself. Right, I'm right today now. I'll go and get my meds in the morning, get a spray, and I'm right today. Happy days. But yeah, the pound shop, some of the stuff they get. But oh God, we used to have what we used to call, when they first started off in our time, they were a 50p shop. And that was about, what? When did they, I'd say about 1980, 81 they first started in our town. And it were a novel thing, they had a 50p shop. And it were all cheap Chinese shit. Being honest, it were all cheap Chinese shit. But it was popular, you could get ashtrays and, because a lot of people smoke, and you could buy coasters, you could buy, if you just moved in somewhere, it was great. Like you could kit your kitchen out and kit your house out. It was cheap shit that didn't last long, but it tidied you over till you could replace with decent stuff. So it was good. It was well used. Yeah, me too. That's what I do. Yeah, I thought you would, mate. Yeah, they turn up in the cheap shop, Raymond. Definitely. But yeah, Jesus. I've sprayed some shit on myself. And I should be careful, really, because I'm allergic to some. Some I use it, and I don't know what ingredient it is, but there's an ingredient in some I'm highly allergic to. One spray and it's like a CS gas canister's been chucked in with me. My eyes are streaming, my throat's killing, I'm sneezing everywhere, coughing. Oh, I'm a mess. And it's not good where I'm working because I'm working with patients and they all have different deodorants. And every now and again, don't know what ingredients it is, but I'll be getting a patient ready in the morning with my co-worker, one of the girls or whatever I work with. And they'll spray deodorants on them and I say, sorry, gotta go out, eyes streaming, coughing, sneezing, and it's a deodorant I'm allergic to. Yeah, and to be fair, Raymond, rejects are meant for destruction. It's good for people that are on a budget, and most of it's pretty good stuff. Yeah, there's a lot. Oh God, I am. It's not so often, but I am. The worst one I had when I was a kid, I weren't allergic to anything when I was a kid, but I were allergic to one thing, and it were a proper pisser. I were allergic to strawberries, but I just can ate them anyway and ended up with an head like a Belgian bacon. I'd eat strawberries and my head would go like that, full of rash and everything. All right, Mum, you've had a strawberry, haven't you, you little fucker? Yeah, I've had more than one. I've had 3 or 4. I buy them all the time, me, and it's not all bad because I've had a pair of, what were they, Ralph Lauren jeans, counterfeit, and I went and looked at the original jeans and the ones I had, and I can swear the ones I had were better quality than the Ralph Lauren. The material, the jeans material, was beautiful and soft, hard wearing. I had them ages. Proper quality pair of jeans, counterfeit. And I've also bought, I love Jean Paul Gaultier aftershave, and an ex-girlfriend bought me the proper stuff from Boots, one of our major chemists. And I used it up in no time because the scent wore off in no time, and I saw it on market, some counterfeit stuff. It were a third of the price, maybe cheaper. It were very cheap, and I bought it. Sprayed it on. The scent was exactly the same, no difference, except it were a little bit stronger and it lasted longer. I put my suit away, the proper Jean Paul Gaultier disappeared overnight, the scent, the genuine one. The copy, I put suit in my wardrobe, it was still the same smell 2 months after. Bloody hell. Some cool allergies. I'd have a false I'd have a false tattoo if sticking plasters did that to me. I'd find it was hugely funny because I'd be cutting them up and doing stuff like twat on my arm and stuff. I'm an arsehole, stuff like that. Going work and they be going, oh my God, you can't come in. Put gloves on, cover it up. Yeah, but I've got some boxes like that somewhere. Yeah, I've got boxes with that name, Kelvin Klein. There's so many of them, Kelvin Klein or whatever it is. Unbelievable how many of them there are. I was buying 5 packs. Calvin Klein. That's a good one. Calvin Klein, bloody hell. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going getting a brew. It's ready. I just have to microwave it. I'll only be a minute. Oh, here we go. Back again. Oh. I've spotted that manly. There we go. When you're a bit posh, but you still have your working class roots. Earl Grey. I'm thinking of doing some track laying tomorrow and soldering up points and soldering up point motors and cutting holes in the baseboard for the point motors. I'm thinking of doing that tomorrow. Not far off, Orange Club. Hey, and I put a thing on my Facebook the other day. Club biscuits. What a swizz they are now. You know their old advert, if you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club. Look at this. I'll just break it. That's a club biscuit now. What happened there? You can nearly see the biscuit underneath. Yeah, all mine valleys is going to be third and fourth radius. I'm not pissing about with anything smaller. Yeah, they're not the biscuit they once were, Ian. I won't be buying them again anyway. Total com. They're giving you more biscuit because it doesn't cost as much to make, and giving you a lot thinner chocolate because the chocolate's the expensive ingredient. Everybody's out on a con now with food stuff. Yeah, I weren't far off seeing through it yesterday, I'll tell you. It's not corner cutting, Raymond, you know. It's probably harder to make them like that, but it's a lot cheaper because they're cutting back on the expensive ingredient you're actually buying it for. You're not buying a club biscuit for the biscuit, you're buying it for the chocolate. And it ain't on it anymore, hardly. It used to be thick, chunky chocolate on top of a club biscuit. Now it's a bloody thin layer. Ritter Sport, that sounds familiar. I've heard that name, Raymond. Oh, I'm just looking. You're trying the Union Pacific. Is that the big long double diesel? I seem to remember. It's like a double diesel, isn't it, that one, Valley? We do, Jessica. We do get lint over here. Nice stuff. Yeah, Valleys, do you watch the Canadian lad with Model Railways? Do you watch, is it SMT? Yeah, exactly. If you like American locals, have a look at his channel, SMT Mainline, I think he's called. It's a good channel. He's a Canadian lad. He's entertaining. His cat gets an occasional appearance. He goes out model shops searching through like second-hand stock they've got in, and he repairs some really interesting vintage locals. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a big long one, isn't it? The DD40. It's a big long one, and it has like a gap in the middle, an hole through the middle or whatever, if I'm remembering the right one. Yeah, honestly, if you've never watched him, Vallis, pop your head on SMT Mainline, and I watch, is it Ron's Classic Trains or something? I'm trying to remember the name of it. He does some really unusual classic stuff. Yeah, but the brass locomotives, like SMT Mainline, he gets some real oddities in. And he gets some nice stuff in the repairs. You never see him do a full restoration, but he'll just get non-runners and get them running. And that's his bag. I think he just gets them running. Sometimes he'll give them a coat of paint. But more often than not for him, it's a thing of he just likes getting them running. But his channel is very entertaining. He has his cat does appearances, and he's in his parents' basement, like, but he's got a big layout, a nice little layout. Well, that's his bag. He'll buy a collection of locomotives, like if somebody buys a job lot of old second-hand locos, he'll buy them and see what's running and see what he can get running. Don't have one of them here, Jessica. Probably because we're too close to Switzerland. I think it's Switzerland that do it. The thing is, I watch a girl's channel and she's a funny girl, but she's an American living in England, And her main videos, she watches old comedy programmes, British comedy programmes, and she reviews them. And she has a really infectious laugh because she'll chuckle and then she'll go snort. She's a snorter and she's a really funny girl. But she also reviews and compares. Like American tastes in sweets and that are quite different to ours. Even the same things are quite different across the pond to here. Like fancy, you buy it in America, it's bright orange, whereas here it's near the colour of freshly squeezed orange, so it's more a yellowy orange. In America, it's day glow orange. Cadbury's sold out. They should have been in Birmingham. Actually, I don't mind who gets it, to be honest, Mick. They still have a big chunk of it in Birmingham, but they sold out Cadbury's. That's one I've never heard of, Raymond. Rum truffles, oh yeah. That sounds good as well. Cadbury bar with cranberries and nuts. I wouldn't have known that. Valley. But yeah, there's a lot of canals around Birmingham, so it would make sense. Hang on. That's one I'm into at the moment. That's nice. Chocolate hazelnut. Bubbly chocolate hazelnut is nice. There's no hazelnut pieces, but the flavour's there. Which I don't get that. And if you're wondering what I'm stuffing my face with at the moment, Jessica, that is hilarious. And something for me to do this year now. It was a very big concern at one time, Raymond. Cadbury's. All penguins are a bourbon. They're a bourbon covered in chocolate. Have you tried sucking a fisherman's friend? Don't you think I'm in enough trouble already? Why don't polar bears eat penguins? Oh, beautiful. Lovely. Lovely Jessica. Nice when you get one of the unusual ones gives a visit. The beautiful thing about your bird life is you can spend all your life and you'll never see all of them. Because a lot are in different areas to where you live, even though they're a native bird to your country. They have different habitats, and often you don't get the time to spend in that habitat to find them. So there are a lot of your native birds you'll never ever see. I've ticked a lot of them off, but not all of them. I don't know where my bird book is at the moment. I'll have it somewhere. But I've got a few bird books, and I have a little one of British birds, and I'm ticking them off gradually as I spot them, as I see them. But because some are in different habitats, if you don't visit them habitats, say for instance, the habitat is mountain forest land or whatever, and you don't visit that area, or if you do, you're only there for a day or so, and it's fairly limited in numbers birds, you're not going to see it. Or if you do, you're very, very lucky. Because some birds here, I see them quite often because I sit down all day fishing, but most of the time, if you were just having a walk down by a riverside or you were just passing through, you wouldn't spot a kingfisher because they're that fast and they don't rest anywhere for any length of time. All you usually see is a quick flash, and you have to know what you're seeing to know it's the kingfisher, because you'll just see a quick flash of blue or orange. And if you don't follow the flash, you'll see the bird. But if you don't know what it is, all it is a flash to you, unless you're lucky enough to see it perch. Once they perch and they're fishing, but even then they're a very timid bird and they're small. And if you get close enough, you'll probably not get close enough to photograph it. You usually have to have an hide to get close enough. Even with a long lens, you need a hide. I don't remember the Pink Panther bar, but I remember Spangles well. Used to get them in selection boxes at Christmas. I should practice fly fishing more because I've got the gear. I've got a reel, I've got it loaded with line, I think my line's floating line, I'm not sure. Because you can have floating line or sinking line. But if you put Vaseline on it anyway, it'll float. And I've got flies, I've got my fly fishing rod. I just never use it, and I should do. Because you don't just have to be after trout in rivers for fly fishing. You can use it for rudd and chub and everything on still waters. Never done conger fishing. I've done sea fishing, and I had a lot of I actually pissed a lot of guys off that day because I were on my mate's boat. My mate had a boat, and he took parties out fishing in Wales. And I got on here and I was chatting to him. Anyway, we started fishing session, and I was hammering them, and the others weren't catching that well. And I was just bump fish after fish. Caught me bait first, obviously. You catch a few mackerel first for your bait, then chop them up and use them as your bait fish. Anyway, I asked my mate to get me some. It weren't even rough, and I asked him to get me some bait. I said, get us an handful of bait while you're there. And he went off and he come back and he had both hands full of bait, and all of a sudden he went, I thought, oh God, he's going to chuck. He stuck his head overboard with his hands out like that so he didn't drop the bait. I thought, you wuss. Irrespective, you can get even if you've never been seasick, you can be seasick at any time. It's something that can hit you at any time, even if you've never ever been seasick. But anyway, he gives us it, and we were fishing, and I was hammering them. Every time I chucked out, I was pulling on it, bump, bump, bump. Anyway, my mate said, you're catching too much. I'm going to have to turn the boat round. And he turned the boat round, and the others were still not catching, and I was still hammering them. So it must have been something I was doing, I don't know. Anyway, the others were sulking because they hadn't caught out. And I said, listen, I've got plenty enough. And I filleted them all on way in. And I shared them out between other lads. I thought, I've filled my freezer, I've got plenty enough. So I give the other lads some because they hadn't caught that well. I said, here you are, fill your freezers up a bit. But yeah, they had a proper, it must have just been something I was doing. Because it was the first time I'd ever sea fished, but I had a good day anyway. Your mind goes places when you... Oh, God. I'll tell you what, it's one of the most used things going Vaseline. You can use it for car mechanics, fishing, all sorts. Skin products. Sexual. We'll go to the sexual. Yeah, it's daft. It can hit you at any time, Valleys. I've never ever been seasick, and I've been in some fucking rough seas. I've been in seas that were that rough. The boat disappeared from under me. Well, it was a ship. It disappeared from under my feet. And then as I dropped down, it was coming back up and it slapped the shit out of me. But yeah, I've been in rough seas, and I was never ever seasick. I was charging round and looking at others throwing up over the side, and oh, they was all green and everything. And I was like, what's up with them? Windows fell out. Brilliant. I've got double glazing new PVC. It's a thing of the past, really, isn't it? Apart from if you have listed buildings and you have to build them as they were built. Putty's a thing of the past nowadays, apart from that. Because it's all held in by plastic now with being double glazed. Yeah, I've used putty in the past. Putting panes of window back in that are smashed. I'm not divulging how or why. I'll just say I smashed them. The joys of being a tempestuous teen. One day, I back-chatted my dad. He threw a full cup of tea at me. I ducked and it went through the living room window. All in the living room window where the cup hit. Straight through. He said, "You bastard, you're paying for that." I went, "You what?" I said, "You threw it." He said, "Yeah, it's your fault, though. He'd have hit you if you hadn't ducked." So I got charged for the window for ducking. I've not got anybody. I've got a lot of stuff I wanted to do because I've been ill that long. I've just been putting jobs off, and it's got a tip, and there's a lot of hard work to do and a lot of hard clearing up, and I'm getting there gradually, but I'm gradually getting my will to get up and move about now. So now my meds have been changed. I just didn't want to get up and do anything before. So I'm getting stuff down. It's looking better. Give it a month or two, do not overstrain myself, and I'm still doing my hobbies in between. Because I can't make it all work and not doing bits of my hobby. That's not how a well-balanced life works. I'll just wear myself down again, and it's stupid. Yeah, Mick, I got it wrong. I said I was getting an Audi A8 next year to come over in. It wasn't an A80, he had an A5. But he sold that because it were a pain in the arse. All the electricals, he said it were all right. He said everything were right when I sold it, but he said I just got it right and sold it. Because they have so much electrics in them, them Audi A5s, they're outstanding, and you're always chasing round repairing electrics on them. The one he sorted when he sold it, it has electrics that alter the height of the headlamps for if you have loads on your suspension, and it automatically adjusts the angle of your red lights so they're optimally on road all the time. And that weren't working proper, so he sorted that out. So he still has an Audi, but he has the A4. So it'll be an A4 I'm in. But he gets Audis quite often. He had the 3-litre TT Quattro. The Audi TT Quattro, that was nice. We were going to go over to the Nürburgring in that, but he sold it and cancelled the idea. I was gutted. He said I could have done. He said, if we go, I'll give you a lap of the Nürburgring in the TT Quattro. I was gutted we never did it. I'd get outdone with that Kim round. I'd have to gag her, but ooh, more cushion for the pushing. I bet she's good fun. She won't get any cleaning done anyway, let's put it that way. Aggie's not too bad either, but I preferred Kim. Plenty to grip on too. Yeah, Aggie's nice, but yeah, I've decided as well for wedding next year, Mick. I'm wearing all my kilts and my border shirts and my socks, my sashes on my socks, my bloody sporran, all the lot. I'm going in my gear. I cleared it with groom last night. Well, yesterday. I saw the groom yesterday. I said, you mind if I wear my kilt at wedding? He went, no, carry on. Game on. And then his mum says, do you do it traditional or what? And I went, of course, last wedding I did. I said, I went commando. I said, it's very liberating. Tell you what, Jessica, there's a girl at work has a Audi TT and I can only just get in it. They're a young person's car. Once you get older, bending yourself to get in one of them and getting down low enough, it's hard. Don't get me wrong, they're a nice car once you're in it, but they're a younger, more mobile and slimmer person's car. But yeah, they're a cracking car, don't get me wrong. My friend has an AMG midget and I go out in it occasionally, and it's not the easiest one for me to squeeze in, I must confess, but I just get in it. Bloody hell, it was... The MG midget was a challenge when I were a 20-year-old. But the best thing is with the MG midget, it's a bit of a challenge getting into one. It's nearly fucking impossible to get out of it again. When we get to the garage, I just go, can you get me a bottle of pop while you're in? Yeah, they're a crack. You have two types with the MG midget. You have the earlier one, which is the round wheel arch, and you have the later one that has the squared off wheel arches. They're the flat area on top of the wheel arch. Earlier ones were just a round all the way round wheel arch. Well, they're a nice little car. I've been out in it. I don't know whether you'll get them over there as much as we do, but I'm in an area of the UK that has lots of countryside, twisty roads that them cars were made for, and they're very entertaining. You don't have to have a big, high-powered car on them roads. You want something nimble, light, and quick, and the MG fills all them groups. I've had an MG BGT, had a blaze orange one, see it coming from about 2 miles. Yeah, a lot of them come like that, the old MGs. There were a guy here, there were a guy in the village, there's the old co-op in the village, and it has all the old names of the areas they had in co-op, and it's in stone. It's like stonemason, written the names and it's sign written into stone by a stonemason. And you had what you used to have above the shop in the co-op in the olden days, what they called the newsroom. And it's where all the old chaps gathered from the village to read the newspapers. Anybody who wanted to read the newspapers back in the day, they had a room over the co-op called the newsroom, and they went in and read them in there. And yeah, I'll have to photograph it at some point and put our last big cotton mill. I did a feature. I have them on Flickr. I did a feature of photographs when they were knocking it down. That were interesting. A big old cotton mill being demolished, so you saw the inside. My biggest regret is the demolition company allowed me access, and I regret not climbing. It was one of the old type mills with a big tower in the middle. Big ornate tower, and it had the owner's name on peel, and it had, I think it was stone lions on top. But my biggest regret was not climbing that tower and photographing out around the view from the top of the tower around the area. I could have got some nice photos, but I didn't do it. But at the time as well, over here, Jessica, then I think Raymond's abroad. In the UK, bats are a protected species, and they got bats in it. So if I'd have gone in and gone round, because they had to stop demolition for a while till they rehoused them and stuff. Or I think it's they have to go on their own free will. And they waited till they moved on before they completed demolition. But if I'd have gone up and disturbed them, I could have ended up with a court case. So you've got to be careful. Yeah, they're nice little cars, the old MGs. But this, back to what I were on about, the old guy in the village, he had one of the very old MGs. I think it were an MGTC. You know, the ones with the big wire wheels and the big mud cars that went like that and over, and the very old vintage car type MG. Oh, Jesus, valleys. I hope nobody's watching in on that RSPCA or anything. You're not Aussie, are you, valleys? Mr. Osborne? I'll eat a back. Yeah, it's... I don't think I could live without an heater. Having said that, I rode motorbikes and they're not famous for it. There was an idiot nearly killed in our local area the other day, just down road from me. I heard him on a motor. Now I'm a biker and I heard him riding this bike, and I don't hang around. And I heard this lad riding this bike, and I went, that fucker's going to kill himself. Because I heard he weren't letting up and he was thrashing it everywhere. And you thought, I was sat here and I was waiting for the sound to stop. A big crash and then sound to stop. I thought, that fucker's going to hit something. Anyway, I had somebody who's heard what happened. They're not telling you everything in the paper. But he had no tax, no MOT, no insurance, no licence. You have to pass 3 separate tests to have a big motorcycle in UK. If you want a big bike, you have to sit. You have to do your theory test and hazard perception. So technically, it's 4 tests because they're 2 different tests. So you do your theory test, hazard perception. You do an off-road test, and then they let you on the road for your on-road test. They have to do it that way around. He didn't have any of them. He wasn't wearing any safety gear. He just had shorts, t-shirt and a trainers on a 600cc bike. And this lad, he said he were doing 100 mile an hour and wheeling, and I'm very doubtful. I just said he were a 600. I just said he were doing about 50 and on the back wheel. It's enough for the damage I saw. But a car's had been turning in, not realised he were coming because he were coming so fast and on the back wheel. And they've indicated to go inside street. It's been an old day, bless her. And she's gone in front of him, and as he's coming up the road, wheeling on the other side. So he's hit her head on. So I don't know how he's going to fare. He's got life-changing injuries. But from one of the lads I was talking to the other day, he's lost a leg. And I think he's lucky to get away with that. I think he'll have other injuries looking at it. There's no way he's got off with just nearly losing a leg. He's got it. But yeah, foolish lad. Life's changed forever. And I was debating. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it was stolen either in the area it's in. But I heard him riding. And I don't hang about. I'm not a straight and upright citizen when I get on a bike. They're quick. You're meant to have fun. But you do it responsibly. And there were just no sense to where he was using it. I'm pretty sure it were him that passed through this village. And how much he was revving it and changing gears. it's safe to pass through this village 40 mile an hour because there's a couple of iffy corners and one of them he went through. You're better off dropping down to 20 because it's a blind corner and there's an entrance. He must have passed through that the other day, 60, 70. And he was opening it up more. So by the time he got down the dip and up on the side, I'd have reckoned he were doing 80, 90. And I just went, he's not going to last long. 100% he was an idiot. I've had big bikes and I've had fun on them. But you don't last long if you don't have the common sense where to use that power and where you can mess about safely. The reason I sold it was because I knew myself I was getting too silly and I thought it's not going to be long till I have a major accident if I carry on like this, so I sold it. Problem was, the biggest problem when you ride bikes is the bike had actually stopped scaring me. I'd got used to it, and you've got to have a degree with big bikes where it still scares you. If you get to the point where you don't know where to back off because it's not scaring you, it's not going to end up well. Plus, I have disabilities now, which makes it harder. A big bike isn't for somebody with hand and arm disabilities. And the worst one's hips. Because when you stop and start, which you do a lot of in the UK, you do a lot of even on motorways, you do a lot of stopping and starting. You're lifting your legs up and down off the footrests, and when you get older, it kills your hips. Exactly, Raymond. But yeah, mate, they're dangerous, but you've to use your head. I've had one bad accident, but I've seen mates that are killed, but I can say the same about both of them. Lovely people as they were, I loved them to bits. They were mad riders. All the ones I know that are good riders and know where to calm down and know where to use that power are still here. All the ones that didn't and they was like gung-ho riders, they're not here. Occasionally you get a good one that's not silly and they cop it, but more often than not, it's gung-ho riders. Because let's be honest, if you've ever got on a bike, Mick, you know they're infectious, and I don't know a single biker that sticks to the speed limit all the time. I've even had coppers behind me. I've been speeding and I've looked in my mirrors, seen copper behind me, and I've eased off. And coppers just come up alongside me at lights and go, just give me nod as if to say, first fair you saw me and eased off. If I'd have carried on and ignored him, he'd have nicked me. But the bikers, they just go, first fair, he's seen me and eased off. No, I don't blame you, Ian. There's some... But honest, anybody who's never tried it, they don't understand the fun it is. There's a lot of adrenaline involved, and there's a freedom. You're not enclosed in a vehicle. there's the freedom aspect to it and the wind in your hair, and it's something I've loved doing all my life, but you've got to know when to say, right, I've been lucky enough for long enough, and I've had some big bites, I've had some fun. It's time to call it a day now before anything untoward happens or whatever. You've got to know when to call it a day. I mean, let's be honest, I'm not a spring chicken. Not got a lot of years left as it is. Without tempting shortening them. Because with me illnesses, you've got to, for a big bite, you get old people saying, I can still ride like I was 20. No, you fucking can't. No, you can't. You can't ride like you were 20 at all. They're a big, heavy machine. You get muscle wastage as you get older. You get more doddery. You get your reactions slow up. And it's all things that aren't good combinations on a bike. If you do have an accident, it takes longer to recover. Your body ain't the same. Your hips are going, your arms are going. Anybody who says that it's, some of them are 70 and 80 and they're saying, I can ride it like I was 18. No, you can't. Don't bullshit me. I know everyone's different, but we're not all different that we can beat nature. You're full of shit if you're saying, you're full of shit if you can say you can handle that bike the same you could in your as you could in your 20s. I love me leathers. They've trouble is I'm not a light lad as it is, and if you held me leather jacket, it absolutely weighs a ton. I've got leather jacket, leather waistcoat, leather poaching pouch, and I've got some Harley Davidson chaps. No, I haven't got the chaps and posing pouch. But yeah, it's the thing is with motorcycles. I had one young lad one time. I was in the Lake District and they have a motor museum there. Terrific place. It has all the Bluebird. A lot of them there, because they have the Bluebird Centre as well. A lot of them there are replicas, but it's still a good place to visit. Because he broke a lot of his water records in Lake District. But they have a car museum, terrific place. And it has a motorcycle section, motorcycle music. And we're walking round it. We've gone on bike because where I live, it's only an hour or two up the roads, a quick blast over to Lakes, have a chippy dinner at side of Lake Windermere, and then a quick blast back. But we're in this museum and this young lad's talking to his mum and dad. And he's going, I'd love one of them bikes. I'd love a motorbike. And they said, you're not having a motorbike, they're dangerous. And this young lad turns round to his mum and dad and he says, they're not dangerous. I said, and I turned round to this young lad, I said, listen, if you have the mindset that you think a motorbike isn't dangerous, you're the last person that should buy one. I said, because you'll get killed. I said, if you have the mindset that that machine isn't dangerous, you're a liability to yourself. Because you've got to get on that with a mindset I might not make it home. Because they're that sort of machine. If you're not on the ball and something happens, your body's the crash zone. Well, your body's the crumple zone. The Velocet it was. They were known as silent SIDS. Because the police used to be, they were a very quiet engine. And the police, well, for a two-stroke, and the police could sneak up on people. They used to call the Velocet with the leg shields the silent SIDS. It was the one they had on Heartbeat. Yeah, it used to have the leg shields and the radio box at the back, the way the police force kitted them out. They were the Velo then. Yeah, they weren't a quick bike. They were only a little. I forget how big the engine was, but they were only a small two-stroke. So they were normally 125, 175cc. I'll just have a look what size engine was. I'm curious now. I'd imagine 175. They were actually Velocet LE, their actual name, but what size was the engine? Go to Wikipedia. 149cc. Actually, it weren't a two-stroke. They were a four-stroke, water-cooled. But they were known as it was a twin-cylinder. Oh, no, hang on. Yeah, it was a twin. So they were a four-stroke, water-cooled twin. But they were nicknamed Silent SIDS because they could sneak up on you. They were very quiet runners. Yeah, they were 150 or 200cc valleys. So, yeah, but that was the nickname they gave them back in the day because they were very quiet engines on them. They were a nice little bike, but they were on Heartbeat. Like they used them. Constable Rowan used to patrol on one. But the later one that were on it, Mike, he got a big British bike in. He got I think it was a BSA he used. Nice old bike. I like the old BSA. They had some nice bikes. I'm a BSA man. You can, apart from the Norton Commando, you can stuff most other British bikes. But BSA, there were some beautiful ones. Some really pretty bikes. But my ultimate, if I had a British bike, and it sounds weird, it's a modern one. There was one, if you look it up, it's called a Hesketh. And the name, it's a Hesketh 24. And it's called the Hesketh 24 because it was named after James Hunt's Hesketh racing car. And it's also called the Hesketh 24 because the factory only made 24 of them. But what a beautiful bike and what an animal. I think it's also 2.4 litre because they played on the 24. But what a beautiful machine. Proper animal. Big 2.4 litre V-twin. Yeah, he did. There was pretty much the standard police issue, police bike back then. It was like BMWs were in the 80s. They were pretty much the standard police issue bike. Now they have all sorts. If it weren't for chips in the 1980s, I don't think I'd have ridden bikes. But I used to love watching chips, and I would have watched all the antics, and I thought I could get into that. Little did I know, 40 years later, I'd still be riding them. Nice, Jessica. I am a BSA fan. They made very good looking bikes, BSA. In fact, I'd hazard to guess the biggest percentage that aren't familiar with British bikes, if you said the word British bike to them, the picture in their mind would probably be a BSA. You know the shape and the look they come up with. It'd probably be the BSA because that is the pinnacle of British bikes, the Beezer. Hats off to him, Valleys. Anybody who'll race the TT course they have balls of steel. One slip up on that course and it's half a day out with an undertaker. You don't get a second chance. There's videos of you on YouTube of some of the riders at the point they were killed. Gruesome to watch, but Jesus, you think, I'd hit him. 1 second you can be racing, and the next it's good night Vienna. Puts a frightening perspective on life. Ah, cool. That's interesting, Raymond. Very interesting. Be very cool to see. It's amazing what still turns up today. Excellent, Valleys. Yeah, anybody that'll go around that course flat out has deep respect from me. I don't know if you're on Facebook or not, but I'll have to put a picture up of Ashley that rode motorbikes there. She used to turn up at our local bikers gathering, and that girl could ride. And she had some quick bikes. She had the Honda VFR 400s, like race type bikes, and she'd come in after riding, and she was riding in stiletto boots, and her figure was to die for. Tight leather trousers. She's got jacket on, fits her curves, and a really pretty blonde-haired girl. And she'd come in and she'd go, I've just been over tops, I've just had it in her. She says, both wheels off the ground, with front wheel up, she says, what a buzz. She could ride, she were a good rider. But what a stunning girl as well. She used to turn up and all the lads would, you could watch all the lads drooling. She was very pretty, but miles too young for me. I think I might have heard that one. Valleys, I think I could have heard that. Excellent stuff, Raymond. I like them BSA triples, Jessica. They were nice. Yeah, sidecar's good. I've watched sidecar races when I've been at racing. I love sidecars, I always have done. There used to be a guy just up the road had one, and I used to go in garage and tinker with it with him when I was a kid. It was one of the old classic outfits. Not a new one, it was a classic one, you know, the ones with dustbin fairings and everything they used to call them. But yeah, some cracking old machines. I've got some, because I'm into photography, I've got some good photographs of sidecar racing. But yeah, you're right, it is not sidecar. Especially if you're the passenger. Catch you during week, Mick. Good to have you along again, buddy. Cool, I'll have a look. Yeah, great to have you along, Mick. Catch you in week. Tatty pie, buddy. Tatty pie. Nearly finished me wine gums. That's me weekend supply gone. That's a sugar crash coming up. But yes, some interesting vehicles over the years. Bikes, definitely some interesting stuff. Even with friends, I used to have a friend. Well, not my friend, my brother's friend, I should say, and he collected motorbikes. Old classic British stuff. But he had a particular penchant for Scott flying squirrels. And he had, I think it were 3 of them. And one day his wife said to him, Steve, it's either them Scott motorcycles or me. And he just said, shut the door on your way out. Yeah, so obviously we're going to keep his bikes. It was not negotiable, which were funny. But I don't know. Talking for my diecast channel, I don't know when they'll arrive or whatever. But I've got the Spurs for that should be my next one. Or it should be coming up. It's going to be custom colour, I'm not. Well, that yellow's tempting. I like that primrose colour. But I think it'll be a custom colour. I'm not sure what yet. It could end up in anything. I'm thinking of pearls. I'm thinking of pearl paint. I'm thinking of pearls and I'm thinking of stripes on the bodywork. But as to how it'll take, yeah, it's a Viper Valid. Through a cock up in buying, I only wanted one Spurs donor for that one that I already have, but I cocked up buying on Friday. Because I went on and I saw one and I thought, that has all the parts that has missing off it. So I went, right, click, buy. Clicked and bought it and I went, oh shit, it's the wrong scale. So right, then I went on and I went, look for the right scale and one that has parts that I need for that one. So I went on and I looked around and I found one that had the parts I needed and I clicked on it, but then I looked at it and I went, that's too good to strip for parts. It's all, everything's there and it's not chipped or anything. I thought I'll leave that one alone. So then I needed a Spurs car for each one. The one I needed still needed a Spurs car for. And the one I bought that were wrong scale, I needed a windscreen for it because the windscreen were missing. So I hunted round for 2 Spurs cars for them. So because of me cock up, now I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 heading me way now. Because of one cock up screw up, I've got 4 die casts heading me way. And 2 of them are going to be used for Spurs. There's no doubt with cats. I'd like a cat. Nutty cat lady to me. I love it. I know some of them. There's a rock chick that lives not far off me. Smoking hot body, not a bad looking girl. She goes out dressed in leather and that. She's my age now, still not sorted out, and she's turned into a cat lady. How does that happen? She was a cracking bird. She was well fit. Beautiful, beautiful body and long legs. Not bad looking. Turned into a crazy cat lady. What on earth happened there? Because she was a rocker. She went out in all leather gear and looked hot. I once went to a concert. Like, it was a smallish gig. Not huge, not one of the huge ones. And there was a girl at the front. And she was on her own. And she had a dog collar around her neck and she had a lead on it. And basically, the way it works, I believe, she likes playing out as the animal, like a dog. And essentially, she's looking for an owner. But the role play will be your owner. Do it doggy style. But then I thought, hang on. If I go for a walk, I'll need to be taking bin liners for poop bags. And I thought, I'm not picking a poop up after it. But yeah, there's some weird shit goes on. But another concert I went to, I always meet them at concerts. I were at the front near the lights, and they have strobe lights and stuff. There's this girl in front of me, and every so often it were an electronic music concert, and every so often they flick on the strobes. Anyway, this bird had photosynthetic or whatever it is, epilepsy, photosensitive epilepsy. It means it's the sort when it's flashing lights. Anyway, every time they flicked, she wouldn't move either. Every time they flicked the strobe lights on, she went down. And at one point, later on in the night, towards the end, she had a pint of cider or beer, whatever it was, in her hand. They flicked the switch. She went down, and everybody, including me, got piss wet through with like cider or a beer. She lost a full pint, God bless her. But I thought, God bless her tenacity. She still stuck with it at front. And every time they flicked it, she got back up again. And I thought, that's tenacious, man. Yeah, very entertaining concert that was. Fantastic. Fantastic. There's some odd people out there, Valid. I'm probably testament to that. It's like the Max and Paddy line when they're going out to nightclub as sailors. He said, oh, why women love uniform. He said, well, let's go as Nazis then and see how far that gets us. Enjoy your dinner, Jessica. I'm not going to be long anyway. I'm thinking of calling it a night because we've done 2 hours 20 now. Been a good run. Catch you later, Jessica. Good to have you along. I've run out of wine gums as well, so I think it might be bath time now to entertain myself. And ain't nobody wants a camera in there. I had a homemade lamb madras. It were in the cooker from this morning. In the slow cooker from about 7 this morning till about 7 tonight. So it was slow cooked for 12 hours. It were very nice. I've got some more for tomorrow. I'll chuck it in a pan and heat it up tomorrow. So here we go. We've got 5 left on whoever's looking there. Mick's gone, Jessica's gone. We've still got you, Ian, for now. I don't know where Valleys is still there. Past that, I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Raymond's probably still there. So that's 3 plus 2 I'm not sure of. Camera. You don't need a camera saying me, you've got it. But yeah, it's rum all day. But yeah, I'm getting towards time of night. I'm finding it time to call it a day. But I'm on for a little bit longer. Probably go to half past. Call it a nice 2.5 hours, then wrap it up. So any last business? We've got 7 minutes. Oh, fantastic, Valleys. What is it, a Hornby one? I've got an Hornby turntable and I fully intend to make it into a turntable for my channel because I won't use it on layout. I want it as a turntable for my channel for when I restore locals to put them on turntable. I know it's a day and a half hot, Mum. I met Don Estelle regular round here. He used to always be in Woolworths promoting his album in his lofty costume. He were quite a sad sight towards the end. Because he were in the 80s, late 80s, and he was in Woolworths in his lofty costume, and there were only the OAPs knew who he was. All the kids were, who's this knobhead? And they were old They were old songs. It was so sad, really, because he was a very underrated talent. He had a beautiful singing voice. Excellent stuff, Valleys. Fantastic stuff. Hey, that's the best sort of price, Valleys. Can't fault that price. Can't beat a freebie. Well, my Hornby one, I have an Hornby one, it has the motor already installed, so somebody installed the motor kit. There's actually a blue box set here, and I made a dreadful error. I'm going to have to repaint one. I've got the decals, but I got them cheap, but somebody had done a bad weathering job on them. So I tried wiping it off on one, and it damaged the Operation Lifesaver printing. So I've stripped all the paint and it's going to get repainted. But I couldn't find the Montana Operation Lifesaver decal. So it's just going to get a standard Montana Rail Link livery. And I might weather the other one because it's devalued now as a box set. Because it was a box set in the proper box, but shit happens. But I do like the old Athens blue box. The quality locomotives. Yeah, I'll always love the Athens stuff is just quality. Loved them since the first one I got. I made an error last month. I bought an Athens band drive chassis, thinking that it'd have had the plastic clip-on truck sides, and it didn't. They're an all metal cast unit. So I robbed it off a B unit I didn't need. Yeah, I couldn't beat Donny Stell was a superb singer. Really, on that Windsor Davis were only a backing singer to him. It was Donna Stell that was a singing talent there. Fantastic stuff. I've got a motor on. I might do that tomorrow, I don't know. I've got an old Lima diesel shunter and I've got a CD motor to put in it. Anyway, we've hit the 2 hour 30 mark, and I said I'm calling it a night. So I'm calling it a night. I've got a bit of a cough. Something went down wrong way. So I'm just relaxing a bit now. See if I can move it. I think it's moved. I think it's just surplus. Bit of the bloody juice or whatever. It'll clear itself. I'm not going blue or choking or anything. But yeah, it's been fantastic having you all along again. Great evening. Some good topics covered again, as usual. And I think it's that time of night again to say tatty pie, people. Tatty pie. Yeah, tatty pie, Valleys. I'll say tatty pie to Ian, wherever he is, and tatty pie, Raymond. It's saying there's 6 in. I'm not sure who the other is, because Jessica's gone. So there's only three really listed. Valleys, Ian, and Raymond. I'm off tomorrow if you want, Ian. I'm off tomorrow during day and in the evening. If you want to do a video call. Yeah, I should be a knocking about. But yeah, that's it now. There's only one we haven't got. I don't know where he's gone. It's just Raymond, but I said tatty pie to Raymond too. Because I'm calling in a night in. Night, Raymond. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tatty bye. And take care, y'all. Have a good night. Hello, Andy. Tatty bye and take care. Good to have you along, Andy, even if you didn't pop in. Right, I'm out of here. Take care, folks. Been good having you all along again.